As we have been reporting, according to sources, the FBI came to the homes of two Mayor Adams's closest aides, First Deputy Mayor Sheena Wright and Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Philip Banks, and subpoenaed the cell phones of at least 7 people in the NYPD, including the police commissioner himself, Edward Caban. A lot of questions remain this morning, including the big one, which is what led to these raids and what are federal authorities exactly looking for? For more on the legal process around these raids, we're joined by criminal defense attorney and former Manhattan Assistant District Attorney Jeremy Saland. Always good to talk to you. Jeremy, I want to start off, what stood out to you when you heard and saw this transpiring the past couple of days?
Well, when you're going that far up the proverbial food chain to deputy mayors and separately trying to get, or in fact getting the cell phone of the police commissioner, it tells me that they're likely not, or I wouldn't say likely, but they very well could be the main targets, but they're looking to build a bigger picture, meaning the federal government, the FBI, and that could mean something significant for the current Mayor Adams. We don't know, we shouldn't speculate, but they went before a judge, got that probable cause before that judge, and that neutral judge signed off and said, you can go to those homes and check those homes for criminality. Yeah,
I want to ask you more about that. So when they execute a search warrant, describe the process before that. They may receive a tip, or they have some kind of evidence or some kind of belief that there's some kind of reason to believe that there's something going on here. So describe that process.
Yeah, I mean, it can come through different sources. I mean, without speculating and saying it in fact happened here, there could be an undercover person. There could be what we call an informant, which everyone has heard of before. There could be just other information that they gained through their own investigation. There could be IP addresses going back to a home. There could be someone who freshly saw something that they were seeking, a contraband or some form of criminality that's not stale, meaning they saw something in the past couple of days or week in one of those or both of those homes. So there's a lot of different things, but ultimately what has to happen is the FBI agent here, or in the New York City, it would be the police department, a police officer or detective, goes before a judge after the prosecutor drafts that affidavit and swears it out and swears to tell the truth. And that judge reviews that evidence, can ask questions, and then decides yes or no, you can proceed with that search warrant.
And Jeremy, when you are presented with a search warrant, can you challenge it?
Absolutely. You can challenge everything and anything in the criminal justice system within the four corners of the law. One of the problems that you may see in search warrants is you've already had that neutral judge, that body, go before, the FBI or the police go before that judge, and that judge make a determination that probable cause exists. And doing that background, asking those questions, does it mean that it's going to withstand every challenge? No. But it's certainly more difficult than, let's say, that random stop and say, let me stop your car and search it.
Yeah. Jeremy, something that stood out to us here in the newsroom, they searched the homes of some of Mayor Adams's inner circle, some of his deputy mayors. But in the case of the police commissioner, they didn't necessarily search or raid his home. They just asked for his cell phone. What do you make of that, if anything?
A cell phone is a computer, so there could be so much information stored on that computer and that device, and it's not something that goes easily as stale, whereas it may be gone in a week or 2 weeks or a month, because even if you delete something, it could still be there. And there's evidence of communications and transactions. So they're going to go into that phone with a search warrant, one would expect, to figure out what is on there. It's not just a subpoena to get a phone. It's not just a subpoena to get records of the phone from the phone company. They want that physical phone and to find out what's there.
So they have these phones, other devices, and presumably anything else that they took out of these homes. What is the process like next? What does the next phase look like for these investigators?
So they're going to go in and they're going to look and see what's there. And, it may not be exigent in meaning that there's something immediately happening, imminent, that they're going into it tomorrow or the next day. But what they're going to do is catalog what they took from the home when they did the search warrants on the home. And then they're going to have someone, for lack of a better term, a forensic, someone who is familiar with computer science, is going to go into that search warrant and go into those phones to see what they can find. And they're going to add it to whatever they have already. Does that mean they're going to present this to a grand jury? Does that mean they may use that to say, hey, you know what, Deputy Mayor, we want you to cooperate. We've got some good evidence on you, hard evidence. I'd be speculating, but these are all different avenues.
And Jeremy, we should point out, just because this happened doesn't necessarily mean that charges or arrests are imminent. But when something like this happens, obviously this is very, very serious. Is there, I know every investigation is different, but from they do a search warrant, from when they search and seize the evidence, is there sort of a timeline in terms of when potentially there may be something else developing from that?
No, there's not necessarily a timeline, but one would expect that something might come. Let me take that back. It could very well happen soon, but they still have to go into those phones. They still have to, meaning they, law enforcement, go and see whatever they recovered. They may decide to talk to more people. So always is a presumption of innocence, and there's no proof whatsoever that anyone's being arrested today or tomorrow at all. But this doesn't bode well. They're doing this for a reason. There's obviously some criminality because you're not getting that search warrant without that probable cause level to search for that criminality or evidence of that criminality. So again, it doesn't bode well. Tomorrow, a month, further than that, I can't tell you.
And again, no indication that the mayor himself has been targeted in this investigation, and no indication he himself has done anything wrong.
Everyone deserves that proof. That they're innocent. The burden's always on the prosecution.
For sure, Jeremy. Always good to talk to you. Thank you so much for that.
You as well.